It's time now for the Athlete of the Week, and it's brought to you by Diamond Point and Sock Center here on Midmnsports. With us today, two seniors on the Melrose girls swimming and diving team. Girls, if we could have you introduce yourselves, okay, and then tell us about your family.
Okay, do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Maddie Rosenberger, and my parents are Alyssa and Joe Rosenberger, and I have one brother named Isaac.
I'm Mackenzie Herzog, and my parents are Paul and Mary Herzog, and my brother's name is Dalton.
All right. And what events do you swim in?
I swim the 200 IM and the 100 breaststroke, and then normally I swim the first relay and the 200 free relay.
I swim the 50 free, 100 free, and then I switch back and forth between the free relays.
Okay. And so, how has the season been going so far with the limitations on spectators, just dual meets and things like that? Can you describe how the season has gone for you so far?
I would say it doesn't feel as different as we thought it would feel. The girls bring a lot of loud and fun to the team. It really hasn't felt limited, even though there are limitations.
I think our team has tried to make the most of what we have, and we're just trying to do our best with what we got.
Would you say the same thing about school too?
Yeah.
Describe a typical day. How is Melrose doing this now?
So we're in hybrid, and so for me, I'm online Monday and Wednesdays, and then I go to school Tuesdays and Thursdays. But then
I'm the opposite. I go to school Monday, Wednesday, and I'm online Tuesday, Thursday.
Okay. And how is this working out?
Pretty good.
Yeah. I actually like being in school one day and then being at home the next day. It's kind of nice you kind of get to sleep in a little bit then on the days you don't have in school.
Do you find too that when you're at home, you really have to be disciplined?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It depends what classes you have. Like, my first half of the week is a lot harder than my second half of the week, so I have to really get my stuff done with the first part of the week, but then the second part I kind of am able to slack off a little bit.
That's the same with me, especially when you have a study hall, since our study halls are 100 minutes now instead of 50.
It's almost like swimming practice, isn't it? You have to be dedicated
Yes.
and concentrate, right?
Yes.
What has been your experience with swimming now? How did you get involved in the sport first of all?
Well, ever since I started swim lessons, I've just loved being in the pool and being in the water. So when competitive swimming came around, I loved every minute of it and just couldn't even wait to start the sport when I got into 7th grade.
I did swimming lessons, competitive swimming, and then I actually started swimming to stay in shape, but then I started to like it a lot more once I got into it.
Yeah. What other activities are you in?
I'm in basketball and I'm also in softball. Oh, and we're both in NHS.
What is that?
NHS,
Oh,
so
okay.
National Honor Society.
All right. Tell us more about that.
So it's been a little bit different because of the whole situation now, but we have meetings every month, and then we have a monthly activity. So for October, we go trick-or-treating for the food shelf. So that'll be coming up.
It's always to help out the community, and yeah.
Okay. I should ask you, what other activities are you in?
I'm just in NHS and swimming.
In swimming.
Yep.
Okay. So you play 3 sports and you're in 1.
Yep.
So what's the difference here in the sense that how much time do you spend, Mackenzie, on just swimming from year to year?
I spend the same amount of time as Maddie. I only do the summer swimming and then the regular season.
So I swim in the summer and then season, and then that's pretty much it for swimming. Because right after swimming ends, basketball preseason has already started, and then after basketball I go right into softball. So I really don't ever get a break during the year.
What kind of conditioning do you two go through? Is it kind of the same, or give me typically, how do you train?
I would say this year it's pretty much very similar. We actually swim in the same lane, believe it or not, even though our strokes are completely different. In past years, normally I swim a little bit less because I swim stroke. but this year I would say it's pretty even with what we swim during a practice.
And you?
I'd say we swim about the same. We swim different strokes, so sometimes we have to change up a few things to make it work since we're swimming in the same lanes now.
How has it developed, say, for you, Mackenzie, that you're more of a freestyle with that stroke compared to the other strokes? How did you develop into being as good as you are in just that stroke?
I used to be a backstroker, and all of a sudden, my end of 8th grade year, I all of a sudden just kicked it up a notch in my freestyle, and ever since I've been a sprinter.
So what is the difference with that then? Is it just the stroke itself, or are you stronger in your shoulders, arms, legs, or how does that work?
I don't know. I would say I don't know how to answer that question.
Well, because it seems to me, or maybe I should ask you, that she seems very strong.
Yeah, she's my weight room partner, and definitely when it comes to bench squatting, she just is a little bit stronger. I mean, she's got muscle all around. I wouldn't say it's one specific thing. It's really like the full body.
I'll also say that me and Maddie, when we're in weight room, one thing I can lift heavier in, she can't. One thing she can lift heavier in, I can't. So I feel like part of that plays a part in our strokes too.
But I'm sure there's a fine line between being strong and kind of getting bulky to where you have to stay flexible too, right? So how does that work? Because I see swimmers, I'm amazed at how flexible you are. Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, we have Sandy, and she's obviously a assistant swim coach, so she writes our workouts so that we're not doing any wrong workouts in the weight room that could make that happen.
We do a lot of stretching and warm up before we start doing weights, and then also after weights we kind of like roll out our bodies just so that we don't get too tight. I would say our stretching at the beginning really helps with being flexible.
You know, can you mention more about the Coach Rasmussen, because I think it is so important to have a conditioning and a strength coach, right? But you're learning proper technique. Has she taught you a lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had Sandy. We've had Sandy since 7th grade between SAQ and Build 24, and I would say she's so dedicated and loves being in the weight room. It's really awesome to have someone be so in love with what they do. It makes you feel like you want to keep doing it too. So
You get the same feeling with her?
Yeah, she always keeps pushing us even when we don't want to go anymore.
Of course, too, with Coach Meyer as well. He gets you going, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what has he meant to the program and to you personally?
I would say he's really put a new image on the swim team. We work really hard, and I think that sometimes that people are a little bit more afraid of the swim team just because we do work really hard in the pool. I'd say Nathan, to me, he's really helped me become not just a better swimmer, but a better person overall, with understanding, sometimes you aren't always the best swimmer, and that's okay, but you still have an important role on the team.
Yeah, I'd say he's a really good coach. He's not one that you're afraid to go up and ask how to get better at something. He's always willing to talk to you if you need help with your stroke, or he's always willing to make you get better.
I would imagine, too, that through the years when you were a younger swimmer compared to now that you're a senior, and let me ask you, too, Mackenzie, as you look at that scoreboard up there and you see your name up there and other names, when you look up there, what do you see and what do you think about?
I don't know. It's been my dream, and I never thought it'd happen. But once it's happened, I'm proud of it. But I don't know.
Are you influenced by some of those names up there, or swimmers?
Oh,
in the past?
Yeah.
I would say my biggest influence in the past was Gracie Drossel. She really pushed me to become a strong swimmer and hard worker in the weight room. She was my partner for a while until she graduated, and we got really close, and I hope to do that for some of the younger girls on our team too.
I'd say Savannah and Britt made me love the sport a lot more than I did. and Savannah made me push myself harder every day.
Do you find yourself, when you're lining up and looking across, because as time goes on, you see a lot of the same people, right?
Yeah.
And you know who's competitive and what you have to do. Does that intimidate you at all, or how do you handle that?
I would say it intimidates me a little bit, not to the point where I like kind of get too nervous. I'd say it kind of makes me want to really go fast, but not to the point where I can't swim because I'm so nervous.
I try to use it to my advantage and do what they obviously don't want you to do.
Maddie, I should maybe ask you as I look at Mackenzie to say that when she's up on the block, and maybe this is what happened when you were younger, you look and you think, oh my goodness, I'm going against her.
Oh yeah.
But she has that kind of presence now too, doesn't she?
Yes. Yeah. I would never want to swim the 50 freestyle against Mackenzie. I mean, even knowing her, just when she steps up and pulls her cap on, she's just a different person. I mean, then she gets out of the pool and she's the same person, but just for that 30 seconds, she's an animal.
Do you, as I talked about being younger and seeing some of the other girls, the older girls that influenced you, do you kind of sense that then too with the younger ones looking at you? And how do you handle that with them?
Yeah, I would say there's a good group that looks up to us. I would say some main ones are Paige and Hallie Drossel, Paige Gruber, Hallie Drossel, Megan Punsack. I would say they look up to me in general just because Hallie and Megan both swim breaststroke with me, and Paige swims right next to me. And I think that with being strong in the pool and out of school, or in school, they look up to me to be a good role model. And even though some of them are a little bit faster than me, I still think I bring comfort to them during the meet.
All right, let me talk for a little bit about basketball, okay? Because as we talked about some of the girls that you've been playing with for a while,
Yeah.
Who are some of those girls? How did they influence you to become a better basketball player?
Well, so last year I would say Micaiah and Ashley Rademacher really bring intensity to practice into games just because they play at a whole different level than most. And then Ashley Rubbering, she always is so light, positive. She always makes it so fun. And then Kinsey, she's, I don't know how to describe it, but she's very aggressive and isn't going to let anything get past her. So I thought she really brought a lot of different stuff to the table. So I think they all really worked well together to help be good role models for the next team, because this year we have a lot of rebuilding to do.
Well, but yet though, you've got, what about 6 seniors on the team, right?
Yeah.
That you've been playing together for a while.
Yeah.
So how are you guys going to be?
Well, it's been a while since we haven't played since August, but I would say there's not really any drama on our team. We all get along really well. Nobody feels more superior than another. I'll be really excited to see how everyone kind of plays together, being in new positions. Now we're gonna have a new point guard, some new posts, new outsides. It'll be a really fun season if we get to have it.
Here's Maddie Rosenberger trying to drive in, hands it off now to Kramer, driving back to Rosenberger. She scores.
You know, as you bring up that, and I haven't really talked to athletes about drama, and I don't want to go out of school here and say, tell me some stories, but is that a thing?
Yes.
And for parents or fans watching, we have no idea. But how much of it does that go on, and how do you handle that?
I would say, so for swimming, our swim team rarely has drama. Our team gets along so well. You know, swimming's one of those sports, if you're faster than someone, it's just how it is. I'd say more with basketball and softball, sometimes there can be some more drama just because it's a little bit more of who's showing dedication and who's working well together. But the teams I've been on, we haven't had any drama that has changed our team to the point where we can't play together. So
let me ask you then, Mackenzie, what does it take and what does it mean to be a good teammate?
Just getting along and encouraging others. Even I think it's a big deal when you get out of the pool, maybe you didn't swim as well as you wanted to, not to just go sit down at your bag and be upset. Get on the side of the pool and cheer for the next person, and then make it up your next race.
All right. Overall, it's going okay?
yes.
You're finally seniors? Can you believe it?
No.
Okay. So after this year, maybe have you thought about what is in the future for you two?
So I'm actually hoping to go to SDSU, so South Dakota State in Brookings, and I'm looking to go to the RN program or the nursing program. It's not like a for sure thing yet, but that's kind of what my plan, I would say, for the future is.
I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet. I've thought about being a dental hygienist, but I'm not sure like where I want to go or anything yet.
Well, I think you've provided some great entertainment for family and friends and everything. What do you hear from people that don't get to come because you always get great fan support? What do you hear from them?
Well, our parents get to come.
Yeah.
Because they time. But, with my family, they think that when you do tape it, it's just like being here. They don't feel like they're missing it, and it's a really great way to still see it, but even with kind of the limitations.
Kind of sucks not having both your parents here or having friends here to watch you, but at least we have one parent here, so that's nice, and they can watch it, and I know our friends have been watching it,
Yeah.
so that's.
Well, I give you two credit and everybody credit for just persevering through all of this. And you're throwing kind of a curveball here that you got to handle.
Yeah.
And so just keep it going, okay?
Will
And,
do.
Yeah. Thanks for being with us.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, just one more time, introduce yourself again and tell us about your family, okay?
Okay. I'm Maddie Rosenberger, and my parents are Alyssa and Joe Rosenberger, and then I have a brother named Isaac.
Hi, Mackenzie Herzog. My parents are Paul and Mary, and my brother's name is Dalton.
All right, real good. Thank you again. That's our Athletes of the Week brought to you by Diamond Point and Sock Center here on Mid-Minnesota Sports.